This is the GSS4 gas sampling system. Our customer's application is they're wanting to sample into some CP5s and then distribute that sample into multiple CP2s. So on the underside here, we have customer connection, and they will basically have an inlet to the gas sample pump that takes strokes by the controller. They can program it to either sample by time or proportional to flow. Basically, this will operate the solenoid within the gas sampling dome, and every time it strokes, it'll take a sample of 0.5 cc's. Within the controller itself, the customer can program how big their sample bite size is, how big their cylinder is, different things about if they want to sample proportional, how many pulses they want to take each pass through. And you have your outlet, so every time you stroke, you hold for a specific amount of time programmed through the controller, and then you'll push out the sample into the CP5. Within the CP5 itself, you have your tracker magnet and the piston, which will move up to 80%, and 80% would be considered full. So the customer will be using a proximity switch in order to communicate with the controller, and that'll basically tell them whenever the CP5 is at 80%, they can stop sampling. So we'll have this wired up, and the signal, once it connects, it closes a switch within the proximity switch, and it tells the controller shut off the system. Sampling will be complete, and they will receive a signal remotely to come and check the CP5. And at that point, they can switch out cylinder containers and continue the process of sampling again. Showing the sampler on the gas sampling system, we have our inlet right here. It's 1/4-inch tubing, and we're going into the gas sampler. This setup is to where they can use pipeline gas in order to pressurize the solenoid and actuate the gas sampling pump. So we have our regulator here hooked up to the body of the gas sampling system. Basically regulates pipeline pressure down to whatever we want, which is around 55 to 60 pounds. And then using the controller, we basically tell it when to operate, whether that be time or proportional to flow. The solenoid gets signal, and using pipeline pressure will actuate the sample pump, which then within the gas sampling body takes the sample. This one has a 0.5 cc collection head, and it'll push the sample outlet through the 1/8-inch tubing and out to whatever they're sampling to, which in this case is the CP5 cylinder. Since this is located next to the customer pipeline, in order to utilize pipeline pressure for the solenoid, the customer can utilize a 2-inch pipe for its mounting, which is going to be the standard on this. And they basically will be able to mount it nearby the pipeline, utilize pipeline gas, and then sample from the pipeline to take samples into their CP5 container for transport.